oh, okay, I'm not the only parent that's going through this, and they've gone through it, and they've gone through it, and sometimes he gets uncomfortable if like we're at restaurants or something, you know, and the kids are, you know.
Sometimes how we were raised directly reflects how we then raise our children.
I don't care what people think. A lot of people go through what you're going through.
What happens when two multiracial couples dive into faith, family, and love? Legacy University is where real stories meet real conversations. Join us as we explore blended families, diverse backgrounds, and the moments that shape us. Let's grow together.
Yes,
We got background for the intro.
Yes. So, we're here again for another episode of Legacy University. Some inside jokes going on. So, we got an email.
We did. We received an email from Lucas in Toronto.
Okay, shout out, Lucas.
Yes.
Dear Legacy University, as a parent, I struggle with guilt and self-doubt in my parenting decisions. How can I build confidence and trust in my abilities?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I would probably say who doesn't struggle with that,
Right.
you know? We have 5 kids between us, and I can definitely see where she's coming from. I guess my question would my question to Lucas would be, what style of parenting do you use? Obviously, if you're watching our podcast, we have a faith base that we tend to lean on when it comes to situations like that. And, you know, the saying, I can't quote which scripture, maybe someone can help me, but it's train up a child in the way they should go and they'll never depart. So, for me, I feel like that's where I start first, and hoping that, you know, when I hear that verse, I think of my childhood and the way my mother raised me, and she raised me in the church. So she was also a strict mother as well, very strict. So when I'm older now, it kind of makes sense to me, because I feel like what she instilled in me is also that voice that you hear when you're doing something, and you think like, should I do that? And you hear that voice that says, what would they think? What would she say, or something like that? So my first key point to that would be recognizing that doubt is normal. That every parent experiences guilt and second guesses themselves, but to me it shows that you care about being a good parent. That's the first thing. So I don't know if anyone has anything to add to that. You guys can jump in. Another thing I would say is that another key point would be understanding that perfection is a myth. No one gets it right 100% of the time, and kids don't need perfect parents. They just need loving parents, you know, and present ones. Parents that are just there. So that would be my take on it.
You know what? I'm trying to figure out that every dog in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was quiet for so long, and then
That is true.
And then
every dog in the neighborhood got let out
You're
at the
thinking,
same time.
did we let Nala back in at the house?
Right.
You know, that's just going in my mind. I'm like, I let Nala back in? Okay, back to parenting.
No, I'm sure Nala's back in.
Right.
And Hunter's in, but every other dog
I
in the
just see
neighborhood.
Hunter come down the steps a little bit, go through the window, though.
Really?
So we hope Hunter's in.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, really? Interesting. They tend to forget.
Oh.
Yeah.
that
Right.
Hunter's out. So you saw him come down.
Yeah.
I think that's Hunter. Okay. Because he has a...
Right.
We would
No,
never
it's
find out.
Right.
So, just to springboard off of something that you said, Benji, in regards to something that comes to mind is we shouldn't be results-based driven.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you may be doing, I'll call it perfect parenting, even though there is no perfection.
Right.
But you might have some really high parenting skills and are not getting results out of the child or children on that. So I would say lean away from that, that it's not results based. However, we do couple that with every child has his or her own bend.
Yes.
Each child is different, so it's definitely not a one size fits all that we have learned. Just because it worked for child number 1, number 3 or number 5 might have the opposite effect on that too. So really, coupling those two things together. But what I hear in Lucas's his question is wanting to have that self-confidence, wanting to not be questioning himself all the time. And to that, I would say, there is the old saying about, it takes a tribe to raise a child, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, that's not only for the child.
Exactly.
That's also for the parents.
Yes.
Because it takes each other, whether you are a single parent or you are parenting together or you are co-parenting, it would be good to have other parents and commune with them, whether you're just sitting on the park bench watching your young ones play or you're getting together for coffee or something like that. So that can instill, bouncing things off of each other. That can instill that confidence.
I'm not the only parent that's going through this, and they've gone through it, and how did you guys deal with that? And I feel like we've learned a lot, just have our oldest being 17, and then, our youngest is 2, and having that time in between to kind of try to figure it out. And we're still learning, we're still figuring it out.
And I actually got that as one of my key points too, which was the next one was learning from mistakes instead of dwelling on them. And every mistake is a chance to grow, because like she said, we have the 17 to 2, all of them in between, and every single one of them is different from each other. And we don't have any one of them that's the same.
Can't parent any of them the same.
Can't parent anyone. So
they say you don't get the same kid twice.
And
That is a promise.
so it makes me wonder, Lucas, like how many kids he has as well. So that could be different. But it was something that you said about like the village, and I think I fall victim to not taking that style approach. And it sometimes deals with my youngest that he's he requires more work, and so we tend to not bring him to certain things and not take him certain places because we don't want other people, or I guess I'm speaking for myself, we don't want other people to be bothered with, wow, that kid is just bouncing off the walls, and sometimes we'll drop them off at grandma's while we take the other kids somewhere. So I feel like everyone struggles with his question. It's where do we get the help from, and that's that village part of it. I feel like other parents that have multiple kids will relate to us, but I know she had a situation that happened that she was telling me about on her birthday getaway, where her friend said a kid ran in front of them, and the guy was apologizing.
Like, I'm sorry, because the kid, had pushed the stroller out in front, no big deal. We're just walking along, and, he felt like he needed to apologize, and, it's like, it's totally fine. We have kids. Like, don't even sweat it, and versus, I know sometimes he gets uncomfortable if like we're at restaurants or something, and the kids are, being loud or noisy and, worrying if people are, so, because you do have, people that will still, try to make you feel.
Well, they'll give you the side eye.
Right. Like, oh, they're kids,
those are the people that probably don't have kids.
And I think that's where Lucas is like trying to build his self-confidence up, and he just needs that reassurance with other parents going through the same thing, and you're good. Like
that's good, because my next key point to him was trusting your instincts and values.
Mm-hmm.
You know your child better than anyone else. Yeah, no one else knows your child better than you. Parenting books, advice, social media can help, but they shouldn't dictate every decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so that was kind of funny that you brought that key point up at that point. And then building confidence with small wins, to me would be like the last one for me, would be building that confidence. Celebrate moments where you handle something well. Reflect on positive parenting moments instead of dwelling on doubts. I think that would be a big failure, and a part that I do is I don't celebrate small wins a lot. I'm the one in the relationship that's like the strict.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we all do that though sometimes. It's easy to get distracted with the negatives and what they're not doing right, instead of, oh, but you are really good at this and this and this, and it's just, as a parent, having to mentally remind ourselves, like, it's okay, don't dwell on, let's, like you're saying, celebrate the positives as well. And you want to build that self-esteem for the kids too, and then also as your parenting is gonna confidence increase as you see your kids
Can you read Lucas's question one more time?
Sure. Yeah, so he says, as a parent, I struggle with guilt and self-doubt in my parenting decisions. How can I build confidence and trust in my ability?
I think we all go through that, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible. I mean, we don't know Lucas, but it's possible that, sometimes how we were raised directly reflects how we then raise our children, whether it's exactly that way or completely the opposite of that.
Exactly.
And in doing those things, sometimes we maybe enable, and then our kids turn out like, crying, whining all the time, kind of playing both sides against the middle with their parent. We also don't know if Lucas is married and if he's doing it on his own, or if he has a partner or a girlfriend or mom. We don't know that information, so it's hard to say. We would hope that we balance each other out because we're two married couples, and so it's like when tapping out. Exactly. It's like I'm overwhelmed. I need to tap out. There's been times where I was a single parent, and so I can understand being completely overwhelmed, and feeling like I'm in over my head, and that's when those struggles come. Like, am I doing the right thing? Some of the choices that I made, that guilty feeling where it's like, I made these choices that led me to this place, and now here I am. And it's kind of like not dwelling on past mistakes, because this is where you are now. Yeah. I will tell you, there was a time where I was not following Jesus like I am today.
Right.
And so those were like those moments where that it was way easy for Satan to attack my mind, because I didn't have a point of reference. I didn't have a community around me, that village that you both were speaking of, that tribe that you were speaking of. Like, then you can like lean on you like being a part of a church is more than just going to a building and just coming on a Sunday and then like leaving and then going back to like your life. It's like building relationships, which is uncomfortable, right? I mean, especially as an adult. Way easier to make friends when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And so, as an adult, and like trying to figure out like, I feel like maybe I should join a small group, but like, I don't see one in this list that's good. Well, maybe God is calling you to start a small group, whatever it is that you like to do. And this builds communities, because there will be someone else that wants to do the things that you want to do as well, that aren't there. And it's just waiting for you. And then in that, you meet other parents. single, married, and then you kind of help each other raise, you like do life together, you know, which, so it, without following, I'm going to be honest, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't following Jesus, you know, that come from different religions, cultures, different things. And from being in the world, right, at one point, and we also have 5 children, plus 2 that we are in the process, like adopted, like older ones. It's way better when, in my opinion, when you are following Jesus, because it's like this book is blueprint.
Yes. Yeah.
It is blueprint, okay? It's better than any self-help book that you can ever buy, you know, and then when you get into a community and you get into those spaces, then you can actually have conversations about theology, because there's good theology and bad theology, you know, and so you can actually have these questions about parenting and because there's so much in that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is being open, and instead of putting on this like mask that everything's going good, because what you do learn that back then I didn't know, but now that I'm older, I'm at a stage in my life now where I don't want to, I guess lack of a better phrase is, I don't care what people think, but it's being more open, because what I do know now is that a lot of people go through what you're going through. They just won't admit it. And when you're the one who takes the initiative of being open about it, that's when that person realizes that, oh, well, I'm not the only person that goes through that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like that point that you were just saying is that key point of like learning on mistakes and not dwelling on them. So just having that understanding that I'm not the only one, so I shouldn't feel like I'm letting my kid down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess my thing to Lucas is our podcast. I'm pretty sure we're gonna base a lot of our decisions and stuff on the good book and the Bible and some of the stories that we get out of those, because what I do know is a lot of those stories that I've read, you start realizing that even back then they were going through the same things with their kids. You know, nothing changed, just the technology. So,
That's a whole other conversation. You know, what maybe Lucas might be going through as well. You know, as parents, when we talk about like how much screen time, should there be screen time? Like what should be on the screen? What should they eat? It completely influences how our children behaves.
Yeah.
To your point though, being vulnerable, like not like I don't really care about what people think, because obviously I get that. Trust me, you get to a point where in your life you're like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Love me or not.
Right.
This is who I am, you know. Hope you love me.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna love you.
Right. I gotta go to sleep at night.
Right. But being vulnerable in those spaces so that because lots of times you won't even know someone's going through the same thing you're going through until you're vulnerable enough to talk about yourself.
Right.
Which is a risk.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about yourself, then you're hoping that you could trust the person.
Well, and you're
talking
hoping
to.
that they've gone through it, and you know,
or
they're
that
not going to judge, or you know, that I can open up freely, and you know,
So, yeah.
and you're not going to like, you know, talk about me.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, if you do talk about me, then you have to be almost confident in your skin, like comfortable in your skin, or at least able to be uncomfortable, because you know, even when they talk about you, there is going to be some kind of growth there, right? Because we do base a lot of our parenting, all of our parenting probably on the Bible.
Yeah.
But I'm Jewish. You know, I'm Jewish and Jamaican. Grew up in a Jewish community.
Yes.
So I understand the culture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Catholic school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Same here.
I was in the military. I was a chaplain's assistant.
So
So I served under Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, but like I've seen a lot of different religions, cultures.
Different
so I get
styles.
it, I get it, because everyone is going to think that their religion is the best religion that there is, There's only one person that came to us, though.
Exactly.
Only one God that came down here that isn't so big as to not meet us where we're at.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the difference, with Jesus.
Well, I mean, if no one has anything else, Lucas, that was a great question.
Yes, it was, Lucas.
Thank you. And hopefully we got some key points that we can help you out with and help ourselves out with that we can think about, because that kind of opened up my mind to, it's racing while we're talking. So I'm wondering, what am I doing wrong, or if I'm doing something wrong already?
What can we do better?
So what can I do better and all that? So thank you for that, Lucas. And, well, next time, hopefully we see another comment from you, another email, and we'll reach out and answer another question from you. Thank you.
Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah.
Keep in touch.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, keep us posted, because we can all do better. Right? We all can. We know better, you do better.
Right.
Hey y'all, thank you for watching. We really hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you have notifications turned on and you click the bell so that you can be informed of all things Legacy University as soon as they drop. Click the link above if you want to see our next video and comment below so that we can stay connected. Follow us on all social media platforms and we can't wait to see you soon.